I have a open call. Well, it's not really an open call. It's a call to art with one of the collectives and galleries I'm a part of in town. It's for Women's History Month. So all of the art, well, all of the artists are women and non-binary people. And then all of the art for the show, since it's for Women's History Month, is with a focus point being on women. So I figured I would just kind of film what I'm doing and like what my process looks like for making something like this. So I always start with a sketch, and it's just a composition sketch, so I have like a general idea of where I'm putting like the big things that show up in most of my work. So for this one, it's a little bit different because it is for women's history. So this is the sketch. So for the center cloud portion, I'm doing a silhouette cutout of a Black woman with Bantu knots, which is kind of an ode to a piece I did forever ago that I called the Eve Gene. That was a abstract portrait cameo of a Black woman. So I thought this would be kind of like a cool way to ode to the old piece, and then like an updated version with like how my style looks now with that too. And also something that I personally haven't really seen. I've definitely seen a lot of pieces that use the silhouette of a Black woman with an afro, but Bantu knots not so much. So I thought that might be like an interesting little switch. So far I have like the outline sketch of the woman's silhouette, and because well, I guess I can use this. So this is something I'm also currently working on. But so I'm almost done with this one, but like this portion, this border that has the polka dots, and then the cloud portion is what the cameo silhouette will look like. So now that I have like the outline of her kind of drawn out, and I don't do figures very often, so I'm super rusty with it. So I might kind of like tinker as I paint the border portion at least. But yeah, so this is where I'm at so far. So this is what I'll be using as the center portion of the cutout. And then I guess we'll kind of go from there. I don't know, I'm kind of just like figuring this out as I go too. And especially since it's kind of like, not kind of, it is different than like what I usually do, because it's more of like organic shapes that I typically do like the cloud cutouts of, and not something so figurative. So yeah, but I figured I'd take you along in that process, and I'll do a little bit of paint with me and kind of take you along as it comes together, or even as there's like issues that arise while painting it that I have to kind of adjust, which is a regular activity with creating anything. And then after that, I'll take you eventually, because it's gonna take me a while. I have to have this done and ready for drop off by the 3rd, I believe. So when I go drop off, I'll take you, and then for the opening night, I'll take you guys too, so you can kind of see a beginning to end process of what that sort of looks like. So yeah, I guess now I'm just rambling, so I will just show you bit by bit as I go, and then we'll keep going from there. Okay, so this is where I am at with the outline. So again, just painting the outline, which is this portion here in the sketch. I think I'm pretty happy with it. I have to remember that this is abstract, so like it doesn't have to be perfect, because I get hung up on the details in a way that is unnecessary sometimes. But so this is the outline that will be polka dotted eventually. I like to only do one layer of paint because it's the bottom layer, and I paint kind of like a collage. So this is the very first portion done, obviously, and then I will tape it over. I'll paint the clouds in the inside portion here, and then I'll tape all of that over and then put everything on top of it. So doing this layer doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be a pretty good outline of like whatever it is that I am doing. So I have at least some sort of structure to be painting with, because no matter what I have done, or at least so far, who knows, maybe I'll find a better technique eventually, there is a little bit of bleed through kind of no matter what, specifically on this layer, which is why I do this one first and then the clouds, because it's easier to clean up a solid border than it would be to do the clouds. It's just easier for touch-ups that way. So now I'm going to let this dry, and then essentially I will make a sticker. The sticker will be what I paint on top of, and I usually use like parchment and then like paint tape. Usually the green tape, I think that one's better than the blue, a little less bleeding with that one. So I'll make kind of like a stencil. I will put the tape down, I will cut it all out, and then I'll lay it on this and then keep going. So I'm gonna let this dry, and while that happens, I'm probably gonna have a little snack and bother my husband, because why not? And then when I come back to make the stencil and sticker, I will bring you guys with that. But yeah, I'll see you in a bit, because otherwise I'm quite literally watching paint dry, and I imagine nobody really cares about that either. So I'll be back in a bit. Making the stencil. It took what felt like forever. The rounder edges are like just so difficult to cut out with an X-Acto blade, but it would probably also puppy, you know, demands to be a part of it per usual. There you go. Now you can see him. Half the time he's sitting in my lap when I'm doing this. Or right next to me. Well, I'm going to paint the inside portion, so like the cloud bit inside of her head. So I'm gonna do the background, which I'm gonna do a kind of like green blue, like a teal. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of, my lighting is not great in here, so the color doesn't show very well. But like a seafoam teal color. And then this really light blue as well. And then the clouds, I'm gonna go for, I think, orange and peach, because I think that would be a nice contrast, and also just like feels light and fits like kind of what I'm going for this piece. But yeah, so we'll keep on trucking. I don't know how much more I'm gonna get done tonight, because I have some other stuff I have to do, but hopefully I can work on it a little bit more tonight. I'd like to get the sky portion done at least, and ideally block out the shapes for the clouds, but I guess you'll see that either today or tomorrow, because tomorrow I'll just keep moving if I don't get it done today. Update, background down. And I started doing this like a couple months back, a little swirly design in the background. I think it adds really cool dimension, as well as makes it a little more cohesive with like the general movements, you know, all of these flowy or squiggly lines that I do. It's just like a repetition of that within this area. So now wait for this to dry, and then I will block out the shape of the clouds. And because it's kind of small, I don't want to overfill it. So I'm thinking maybe 3 clouds, 2 bigger ones, and then like a small one that's over top to add some dimension. But yeah, I'm not 100% yet. I like to use chalk, a little hack that I have picked up that is incredibly helpful, is using chalk, so that I can kind of like lay things down and take them away without wasting paint or potentially damaging a canvas. So I'll do that to get the outline of the clouds and kind of figure out where I want them before I paint them with the base layer of orange.
Painting the cloud and sky section. I'm pretty happy with how she has turned out. And now is to cover, because it's all dry now, I believe. Yeah. Now is to cover the whole thing in tape. And then I will be doing the background layer next. So for whatever reason, the footage of me spray painting this line was cut out. So here's just a little update of what it looks like since I didn't actually get any footage of it. But sprayed this, turned on my fan and opened my window to let it dry out.
as quick as possible, and then I'll do the white dotted lines on top. But gotta give this some time to dry and give some time for my studio to not be so aggressively paint smelly. It is now a couple of days later. I've been really busy doing some public art. I got commissioned to do a mural at an elementary school, and I had to knock that thing out in 2 days because I just did not have any more time than that to dedicate to it. So that's all I did do those 2 days pretty much. So I didn't get to work on this. So getting back to it, and I think I showed you where I left off. If not, here, I'll show you. So this is where I'm at, and I'm really liking the colors, and I am gonna do something a little bit different. Usually the order I do this is what you see here, and then I put the white polka dots on this black line. But this time I wanna try doing the flat circles and then doing the polka dots over it. So like they're slid in between the two layers almost. It's kind of the vibe I'm looking for. So we're gonna try that and see how that goes. Fingers crossed, and toes, like everything. I am now done with all of the dots. These areas here look a little bit more sparse, but that's because they're part of the sticker. You can kind of see the difference in texture here. So I'm just gonna let it be. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's gonna be pulled up anyway. But I like how it looks, and I really like how this part turned out. So it does very much look like it's kind of just like I slid this dot underneath and it's separated, and then it just continues. And then there's another spot like that here, which 10 out of 10, big fan. So now I have the dotted line done. These larger blue circles are the green circles. So now I'm gonna do what I call the ribbons, but I have to let this dry, and that's gonna take quite some time. So I am probably gonna have a snack. I might come back and paint a little more tonight because I think it's like 7:30, almost 8 now, but I'm gonna eat a snack or maybe just have dinner and get back to this tonight or tomorrow. Depends on how long these take to dry. And I am so impatient with paint drying. I always want to blow dry it, but when it's thicker like this, because these are actually 3D, yeah, excuse the lighting and also the haggard look. I'm showered and I have a breakout here, so don't mind her. She's a temporary friend and she needs to get the hell out of here. But yeah, those dots, because they are so thick, they are like a 3D element to this. If I try to rush to drying, sometimes it cracks and like splits and stuff, and it's really hard to like fill where it looks like a seamless bubble again. So fully gonna let that dry, so I might be done for tonight. But when I get back to it, I will check back in, and hopefully I take a little time to paint earlier. As you can see, it's dark outside, so it's late. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna start earlier. I don't have as much stuff to do tomorrow, so tomorrow I will mostly just be painting, which I look forward to. Haven't had a day like that in a minute, so yeah. So it is next day and light out, so I am getting back to painting. So like I mentioned last night, we're onto the ribbons, and then we'll kind of just flow from there and see how it goes. It is now the next day. I have finished the ribbons. So now I'm going to do the hollow dots portion, and we'll start with chalk so I can kind of lay out the area. I don't know how many times I've said this, but definitely not enough. Chalk really be changing the game for me over here. I highly recommend, if you don't use chalk to like sketch things out, if you even, especially for an abstract artist, just so you have a better idea of composition before you commit, do it. It's so helpful. But yeah, we're gonna do the hollow dots, and they're gonna be in purple. I'm thinking like a magenta sort of color, and then a dark purple, or maybe like a light purple and then like a really plum dark purple. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I'm excited. So ready to keep going. See you in a bit. the hollow circles, so now I'm doing like the splatter portion. And since I went with a lighter purple and then more of a fuchsia color for the hollow circles, I am thinking between this, like, I don't know if you can tell, it's not really true to color here, it's like a neon fluorescent violet, or this color, which is like, I don't know, here's the name of it. It's like a really deep maroon or like dark burgundy. It's really pretty. So I don't know which one. I don't know. Like, I think they both would be good, but I think they would have different feelings. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. I'm probably gonna do like a little test spot just to kind of see which one I like better, and then go from there. But yeah, one of these two for sure. Purple is the move. So I am gonna go with this one. I think it looks better out of the two. And then with the next layer of dots, I'll do the first one dark to get that contrast I was looking for, but very much picking this. E. That electric purple splatter has had a little bit of time to dry, I'm going in with that other color that I was deciding in between, and I'm actually just gonna use them both. So this one will be more of a like misting splatter, so it'll be a lot more delicate and just like fine, but then more dry time after that. So I'll probably let it dry for the remainder of the evening, and then I'll come back tomorrow to peel, and then I'll have to redo the edge of the silhouette. Always have to redo that edge. It always bleeds a little bit, which is why I do it in the order I do, but I'll have to redo that edge and then put all of the dots for that border spot as well. And then the final dots as well, which I have to figure out what the heck I want to do for the colors for those. But I'm supposed to have this done in like 2 days. So we gotta get to moving, but most of this is just like tedious dry time for the last couple of layers. So going on with this, and here's another close-up of that if you're interested. But mist of this, and then we'll do some peeling. define is there, and it's darker. It's really subtle, but I do like it because up close it is very much noticeable. But we're gonna let that dry, and then I will come back to peel and then do the cleaning up the border, the small dots, and then the last layer of dots on top of that. Unless I decide to like do something else, but yeah. Happy with her so far. Okay, just finished the peel. I think it looks pretty fucking cool, if I do say so myself. So this, like the white you can see here, is what I was talking about with I have to go over the border portion again. And this is also why I do the border, because you can see like how certain areas just kind of like bleed kind of no matter what I do, or like how close I am able to get. So like the blue here that's on the brown, you know, just generally a little annoying, but it's fine. So now I'm gonna paint over this brown border again to clean up all the edges to make everything look much smoother. And then we'll do the dots inside of here. And for those, I'm thinking of doing this like bronze color. It's like my favorite bronze. Copper, I guess is what it is. But I get it from Blake. I love this stuff. So that is what I'll be doing, the dots on the inside here. Finished the dots, and then off camera I also added these lines because I felt like it needed something more to fill the space, and I quite like it. I think it looks really nice. So the last part is I have I guess like 2 dot marks, I would say. One has 3 dots within it, one is 2. So for one, I'm doing this like charcoal brown. and then a golden yellow, so like this color on the container. And then the other one, I think I'm gonna do the first one as this like really light gray, and then a super light pink, and then a neon yellow. I don't know if I'm sold on the neon yellow there, because I don't know if I want to have both dots being yellow, but they look so different that I don't think that'll be a problem. But I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna do the dots, and then I'll be back. Good morning. Oof, this lighting is doing me a little dirty, but it is a couple days later. I ended up finishing the piece. I did the small details because I had a deadline, so I just didn't have the time, and it was late and I was busy, so I just finished the little bits of her, and that is actually what I ended up naming her as well. So this is her. So I added, like I said, these little dots here, the finer details, and now all I have to do is varnish and then finish the side. I carry everything to the side, so I gotta finish the dots there. But she is done, and I'm pretty happy with her. She turned out pretty good. The only thing I think I would do different is make the figure, the Bantu knot figure in the center, a little bit bigger, but I do like how she looks at this size as well, because it feels like she's part of the whole piece and that she's interacting with everything versus her being the piece and then everything else being like a smaller accent. So I feel like it's more cohesive altogether with the size. But yeah, I think she turned out really beautiful. Now I'm pretty much done with it. I did the writing portion, submitted that to the gallery this is going to, and then on Monday I have to go drop her off because the show is the following Friday. So I got a couple more days until I get to see her in the gallery with like the lighting and like the whole curated show, because it is a group show. You see him down there? Where'd he go? You see him? Oh, okay. But yeah, almost done, happy. And now to the next part, which I guess you'll see me again when I go and drop off in a few days. But until then, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. We are headed to the cathedral to do the drop off. Traffic is super bad, which is always a blast. If you live in Austin, you know that the traffic is terrible because there's only 2 lanes half the time because of all the construction. But we are on the way. I'm gonna listen to music and just relax. And when we get there, I'll show you what it looks like. Hi. I wrapped her kind of crazy, but said I wrapped her kind of crazy, but she's fun. She'll work. Yeah. Okay, just kidding. Didn't show you around inside because I didn't want to hold them up too long dropping off my stuff, because I am already a little late. Anyway, they stayed late for me. My schedule's been super extra crazy as I've been adjusting to my side quest, if you couldn't tell, in Scrubs for being a nail tech. But yeah, so the next time you'll see me will be all dolled up for the opening of the group show, and I will actually bring you with me, and I will show you the inside and how everything's curated, because this gallery is just the fucking cutest. So I'm excited for you guys to see it, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Can I just like take it? So this one?
Yeah, I like that one. That one's chicken.
Chicken, and this is the pimento?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. They're beautiful, baby.
Oh, that's so dark. Ugh. Successful night. I got snacks for the road. We're heading home. But yeah, it was a good night.
Hi. So I just wanted to pop back in. It is obviously the next day. But yeah, the show was so good. Food, fantastic. They don't always have food, so that was like a big plus that night. My husband said the drinks were good, and a ton of people were there. A lot of the artists that are part of the collective were there, which was really nice because I don't always get to see all of those people, but a ton of them were there. So that was definitely a highlight, but I think the show turned out beautifully. Big shout out to Monica and Noemi and the rest of the team at the Cathedral for putting together such a beautiful show. But yeah, I think the show will be up for like a month or so. I should have this out and edited with there still being a little bit of time for you to go see it if you choose. But yeah, it is the Cathedral in Austin, Texas. Highly recommend. Beautiful space. Even if you want to go to like co-work or just look, it's actually an old church, hence named the Cathedral. And so it has really beautiful lighting and art everywhere. So definitely recommend. Highly, highly, highly recommend. And there's good food in that area too, so you can make a whole day of it. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, morning, whatever it might be for you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.